This is Earth. For hundreds of years, life evolved. Forests formed and lush ecosystems established. Eventually, humans entered the stage. They created society and started to buy things. Lots of things. So many things that they couldn't keep everything and needed to get rid of some things. And so they invented thrift stores. It was in one of these so-called thrift stores that my eyes stumbled upon this. A vase, a giant glass vase. It's beautiful, it's magnificent, it has a lot of potential. Okay, enough with the dramatic intro. Today we're gonna build a waterfall inside this vase. At least, that's the idea. We'll see how it works out. First we need to make a dividing wall inside the vase. This will separate the mechanical part that will make the waterfall actually work from the natural part, which is mainly important for maintenance reasons. To create the wall we need some PVC boards. This stuff is great since it's really easy to cut with a knife, yet very strong. My original plan was to make some sort of shaft around the pump, but I quickly realized this would use up too much material and would be too narrow for my hand to fit inside, like a Pringles can. Once I finally noticed it would be way easier to create a wall instead, I modified the original pieces to fit this purpose. I used duct tape to hold these pieces together, while I used super glue to make a slightly stronger bond. Quick pro tip, if you're using super glue, use gloves. Don't be like me, don't think, I'm an adult, I don't need to wear gloves. I'll just be careful and everything will be fine. I glued my fingers together way too many times. Just wear gloves. Anyway, once all the pieces were glued together, I did a quick test fit to make sure everything would fit. Next I covered the openings in the bottom with some fabric and glued this together using some silicone. I also used the same silicone to go over all the seams in the wall, and since the sides of the vase don't come straight down but instead taper inward, there was a little gap around the wall. I decided to throw a buttload of silicone at it and hope it would fix the problem. A couple of days later, all of the silicone had finally fully cured. So now it's time to create an overflow box. This will sit on top of the wall and will be the start of the waterfall. I didn't really have a plan for this part, I just threw some scraps together and hoped for the best. Once everything was ready, I once again siliconed the seams and waited for everything to cure. Another couple of days later, all of the silicone is finally cured, which means we can do a test run.
Great success.
These are lava rocks. They're lava, but then they're rocks. And if you buy these at a pet store, you're probably getting scammed. What you want to do instead is go to a garden center, find a landscaping section, and then go looking for big boxes with rocks. Most of the times these garden centers have lava rocks and they will be a lot cheaper. The one I went to sold them for 39 cents a kilo, which means all of this cost me like €3.90. So anyway, I started messing around with all of these rocks. I was looking for some kind of formation that looks waterfall-ish. So next I used some black expanding foam to attach the rocks to the vase. The next day all of the foam had cured and I could start carve away the excess. Okay, so anyway, the next step will be covering the overflow box, and for that we have more lava rocks. But instead of using expanding foam to glue them on there, we're gonna use this. I got a lot of these cotton balls. If you add some super glue to the cotton balls, they will fuse together, get a thermal reaction going, and then it dries. So I have to say it's not as easy as I thought it would be. It's a lot harder, but I think I managed to figure it out. The next step will be adding a little pillar in there, which will act as a support for the rock we tried to add first, and then we're gonna try this one again and hope for the best. A lot of the foam is still visible, and I think that looks ugly. So we're going to use moss to cover it up. I'm mostly using moss I found outside, but shh, don't tell anybody. It's illegal to collect moss outside. I also added some sphagnum moss into some of the bigger gaps between the rocks. I used this to place some plants, like this Fittonia. Some other plants, like this Anubias, were glued directly onto the rocks using some super glue. Decorated the entire vase, and you could say it would be time for a test run, and it almost is. We just got to fill it up with sand beforehand. And now we can do a test run. Hold up, why is the water level rising? Okay, I can show you the problem right here. Alright, so here you have the dividing wall, and down here is the pump. And this pump is just a bit too strong for this setup. It takes out all the water back here, and then it dumps it out on the front, but because there are so many barriers, there's a layer of sand, there's a layer of fabric, a sponge, another layer of fabric, and all these layers slow the water down. So what we need to do is figure out a way to make the water come back to the pump easier. And I think the only option we have is just to get rid of the sand, get rid of the sponge, put some gravel in the bottom, and that's it. Otherwise, the pump will probably keep running dry and it will break within a few hours. Yeah, it works fine now, even my cat approves. Could definitely stop here and call it a day. I mean, the vase looks beautiful, the waterfall works, it's great. Except it isn't really great. It's super dark and I really want this thing to have a lid with a dedicated light built into it. So let's go. Thanks for joining me today. I truly hope you enjoyed the ride. And if you did, I'm pretty sure you're also gonna enjoy this video here. So, I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.